All right, so I'm gonna just go over the Shelby case linear programming model. First thing you want to do is just make sure that you do have solver enabled, because without solver you can't do anything at all. So you just want to go over to file, click options. Afterwards, you want to check add-ins. Go there. Then that's what you want to make sure that is checked, and then you're good to go. All right, so I'm doing this recording after I've already like the voice after the video. So you want to make a new sheet and just copy over the relevant information. So we're going to just start with just the hours per unit. So it's the first numbers that you see in the top left on the first sheet, or just the assignment sheet, just overall. And you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just creating the models vertically and not horizontally like the professor did. It's so much harder to do that way, I think, for me, and well, for most of y'all. I mean, if you're new to linear programming, I mean, it's a pain to just learn it that way. Maybe, I think. So just copy over the information. When you right click and copy and paste, you can do the transpose like I'm doing. So to copy something that's horizontal and paste it vertically, or you can just do it, you know, you could type it in if you want. You just want to make sure that it looks just like this, because you don't want the stamping hours to be mixed with the forming hours. That can just throw everything off. So the next thing you want to do is just set up the constraints, because um, with linear programming, it's all about saying, hey, give me this based on the limited amount of resources that I have. So this is what we're doing right now. We're just setting up the constraints just based on what we've been given. So there's constraints for the departments, for the forming and the stamping, and then the assembly, which I don't even type. I just say model S and then model LX. Those two models, that's the third department. So there's three departments, and they're split between those two models. So we're just copying over the information. It's just so confusing on that original sheet, and I can't blame anyone for getting kind of mixed up. So we're gonna go and add the other information, because this is also useful for the linear programming model. The problem starts off with 400 units of Model S, and then 1400 for Model LX. We're just putting all this information there, and you'll see where it all comes into play later on. So now we're going to the cost. This is really confusing. The way that she had it on this sheet, where she has like the percentage cost, and I'll go ahead and just show you all the information that you really just need. It's just right here in front of you, so just follow along. See, I'm just summing all the important costs. You want the variable costs, and then you want those two other costs that are selected there as well. So that was for Model S, and then you want to do the same thing for Model LX. That's all you need. And then finally, I'll come back around for the fixed costs. As what she did is she applied the fixed cost to every unit. It's a shortcut, but it's much more confusing for a first-time user, um, and it's harder to just do it with linear programming. I think, for me at least, I'm no expert with this, so I got to do it as much as where I can just make it make sense for me. Um, just real simple. Just make it simple. All right, and from here we just want to add the selling cost, or the selling price. I shouldn't say cost, but the selling price for both models. So that's what I'm copying over there. Just right-click copy, right-click paste, do the transpose. Nothing crazy. And then from here you want to hit the equal sign on the keyboard. so it can equal those cells. You're just pretty much moving those cells or just the information into those cells over to here, and you'll see why this is needed once we start the linear programming model. From here, you want to use the formula sum product. You're pretty much adding up the sum of those two cells and multiplying it with the sum of those two cells, and that'll give you the total amount of hours for both departments. Well, actually, yeah, both departments. So I'm just moving that over, and there we go. And then from here, we just throwing in the constraints. You know, no department can go over 800 hours for stamping or forming. And then for the assembly, can't have more than 1900 of Model S and then 1400 for Model LX. From here, we're just wrapping up just all the information that we need for the cost so we can calculate net profit. So here we go. There's another sum product formula right here where we're multiplying the price that we're selling the good at with the units produced in assembly, and then we're doing the same thing but with cost this time. But pay attention at the end. I'm going to close the parentheses. You'll see in a minute. So sum product, close parentheses, and then add plus sign the fixed cost. It's a fixed cost, so it's going to be that no matter what is being made. It's just, it is what it is. And then we just find the difference between the two, and there we have it. That is everything we need right there in front of us. And I'm just going to convert all the money stuff to dollar signs to make it a little bit easier to read. And from here, we can go ahead and create the linear programming model. But you know what? I think before that, I went ahead and actually changed the name of the cells. I didn't even know you could do this until today, actually. So I'm selecting all these cells here. And as you can see on the top left next to the formula bar, you can actually name all those three cells, and it's a lot easier to read when you're doing the linear programming model. So you don't have to do this, but I would probably advise doing it. So when you make a mistake or something doesn't work, you can kind of just pinpoint exactly where something went wrong. So I'll probably advise just naming this. No spaces, as everything has to be underscore between words if you're gonna space everything out. So just underscore instead of space, as you can see here. And you can see what happens when you don't use the underscore in a minute. As actually, I forget the name, total profit. So that's what I'm going to do. And I was rushing it, so I throw a space in there, and it gives me the error. So you just want to underscore it, and you'll be good to go. All right, so here's the linear programming model. Seeing the objective cell, our objective is to maximize profit. So it should be that cell highlighted. And jumped ahead. You don't want to add the constraint just yet. You want to change the target variable. So that's all we're changing. We want to change the amount of Model S and Model LX to give us the maximum profit. So that's what we want to change. Now the constraint is pretty much all of this has to be less than all of that. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And from there, you just hit solve. Oh, actually, I jumped ahead. Actually, you want to do that. You want to change it to simplex and then hit solve. And then you want to click those two on the side and then hit OK. And you'll get your sensitivity analysis and also just your answer just to go over everything. So what's important, the information that you need or we need from this case is actually the shadow price. And that'll tell us exactly what we need to invest in to maximize profits even further for Shelby. And the higher shadow price means that more money is being lost in that specific department. And in this case, There's a 490 shadow price per unit in the forming department, and